Hello fellow survivors and welcome to The Long Dark, arguably one of the best games ever made, especially in the survival genre. It is a fantastic game full of beauty, of challenge and just so much fun being in the game and exploring the world of Great Bear Island. This game has been in development for almost 10 years at various stages and it's a fantastic game. And I'm often asked, what would I change about this game if I could? And the answer is really nothing. I think the game is fantastic as it is now. Even before the DLC was added in 2022, I thought the game was near flawless the way it was back then. And even with all the new things that's been added with the DLC, I still think the game is fantastic. Sure, there are smaller things here and there that could be ironed out or minor improvements to be made, but if the game stopped development right now, or even a few years ago, I would still think the game to be fantastic and a 10 out of 10, maybe 9.5 out of 10. So yeah, that's really all there is to say. I think it's a great game. However, what if we could change something about this game? What would I like to see changed? Well, there are a few things, but before we get into that, the problem with asking for changes in The Long Dark is that people have vastly different opinions on what the game needs or should have or what should change. People have been talking about this for years. There's a billion different forums and posts and discussions about it. I even had an episode where I asked people what they wanted to have changed and I had a giveaway for it and there were so many comments about it. And there's vastly different opinions on what this game should have and shouldn't have. At the end of the day, it's up to the developers, of course. Now, some of the suggestions people make, you can argue, doesn't really make sense. For example, a lot of people want a compass in the game, but arguably a compass wouldn't work because the poles have been messed up with this geomagnetic event that caused the apocalypse, so it would follow that a compass wouldn't work, but maybe there are ways to get around that. At the end of the day, you shouldn't really think too much about realism in a game like The Long Dark because a lot of stuff in The Long Dark doesn't make sense anyway, like where does the water bottles come from and how can the main character carry 500 teas in his bag and that sort of thing. So it's not really based on realism that we should make these changes. Now that being said, the community, if you ask them, have an absolute ton of different requests of what they would like to see in this game. Just to give you a taste of what the people actually want in this game, here is an excerpt of some requests people have made throughout the years about The Long Dark. A battle tank to shoot wolves. Badges in custom mode. Bashing a wolf on its head with a cooking pot. Beavers. Seals. Bigfoot. Cigarettes. Communism. Okay. Candles. 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 Cannibalism. I'd rather not. A companion crow. A companion dog. A companion fox. A companion wolf. A companion hot-blooded Frenchy Canadian woman with thick flowing dark brown hair. Okay. Dragging carcasses a short distance. Ballistic missiles. More wolves on interloper. I don't think a lot of people want that. I'm sorry, mate. Duct tape. Eating multiple cattails at once. I agree with this one. More expanded custom settings. This one's actually coming. They're working on it. Binoculars. 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 A bow drill. Multiplayer. Nothing. Ah, yes. That sounds really... Nuclear bombs. Kentucky Fried Ptarmigan. Jumping. Planting potatoes. Locked buildings. More locked doors. And even more locked doors. Yeah, we get it. A scope. A shotgun. A shotgun. 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 A shotgun. The ability to sit down. Eggs. Re-look. So you can look around while moving. That would be nice. Getting rid of cabin fever completely. You can do that with settled 9 feet these days. Homer Simpson. Sleeping without a bedroll anywhere you want. A sling. Snowshoes. Snowmobiles. Velociraptors. vodka and whiskey, Sax snacks. Oh, that's a good one. Hot chocolate, howling to wolves, igloos, insanity, jerry cans don't disappear when you empty them. Yeah, I like that. And a jetpack. And then the list continues to another 150,000. There's just so many things that people want, and people have very varied opinion on what should really be in the game. And we can't really adhere to all of them. Even if I created a complete list of everything people wanted, even ranked it in order of what people want the most, you know, it's only so many things that can be added, and if we added all of them, the game would just be a mess. Have you ever heard that expression that a camel is a horse designed by committee? Basically, someone has a vision of a nice, graceful horse, but then everyone has input and it turns into a camel. No offense to camels or anything, that's just the expression. So you can't do everything, but everyone's got opinions on how the game could change. And like I said, I think the game is pretty flawless the way it is now. But that being said, if you forced me to change something with the game, what would it be? Well, yeah, it's good the way it is now, but if you asked me if I could change something, I do have a very short list of 5 things that I would love to see changed in The Long Dark. And all of these are really changes, they're not really additions, and all of them except number 1 are quality of life improvements. They're all really small things that I think make the game a little bit more enjoyable. So let's go through it and let me know what you think about these 5. Number 5, 360-degree look in cars. So when you enter a car, you can't actually look behind you, which always bothered me. I understand you're stuck in the driver's seat or whatever, and you can't like turn your head like an owl, but still you should be able to look behind you. A lot of times there's a wolf or bear following you, and you want to be able to see where it is, and you just can't, and that's a bit annoying. That's a small thing, but I'd love to have that changed. Number 4. For some reason you can't move when you aim with the revolver. You just stand still. If you have your bow or your rifle or the stress pistol, you can move around very slowly, mind you, but you can move while you aim with it. For some reason you can't do that with the revolver. I don't know why, but you can't, and it's a bit annoying. So if that could be fixed, that would be great. Number 3. Restarting reading when it gets cancelled. So this is a bit of an annoying one. If you start reading a book, like a skill book, let's say you start reading for 1 hour, if you read 99% of it, so you read 59 minutes of this book, and then it gets dark, or you get thirsty, or you get hungry, then it will cancel the action. And now you have to read the entire hour again, which is a bit silly. It's almost like if you read a chapter in a book, and you read all the chapter except for the last page, which has the summary of the chapter or the footnotes. And then it got dark, and you thought, oh well, I might as well read the entire chapter again. It doesn't really make sense, but it doesn't really matter if it makes sense or not. It's more that it's just annoying that it adds a lot of time. I don't see why it can't be in gradients or something like that. It's already in the game that you don't actually level up the skill until you have read the entire book. So might as well have it in increments that you don't read 5 hours, you read, 5.0 hours, if that makes sense. So that would be nice as well to have it changed. Number 2, telling medicine what to do. So this is an interesting one that I'm not sure even can be done, but I find it a bit annoying that the medicine in the game has to be told what to do, as opposed to it just working naturally in your body. So for example, let's say that you have a sprain, and then you have a actual sprain on your foot or your arm, and you have pain with it, right? If I then take a painkiller, the game will ask me, basically, why are you taking a painkiller? And I have to tell the game that it's for my pain. If I choose that it's for my foot that is injured, then I will take the painkiller and nothing happened. It will give a message saying that treatment didn't do anything. But here's the thing though, I still ate the painkillers, didn't I? And the painkillers is something you ingest to heal pain. So shouldn't it really be rather that I just eat the painkillers and then it automatically cures the pain, even if that's not what I said? See what I mean? It's been ingested anyway. So this is a bit tricky. I'm not sure how this would work with programming or the coding of this, but I always find it a bit silly that I have to tell my body what to do with the medicine I ingested, which is a bit weird. And it sometimes leads to mistakes as well, where you accidentally take the wrong medicine and then you don't heal what you're supposed to. So it's a bit silly, I think. And number 1, and this is the only actual implementation that I have that I think they should add to the game. It's a change and an addition at the same time. And this is it. Number 1, I think timber wolves should have different pelts than regular wolves, which allows for crafting of different gear. This is very important, I think, because it adds an incentive for people to actually kill the timber wolves. People in general don't like timber wolves. They avoid areas that have timber wolves in them. And with the recent change of having timber wolves in other regions around there as well, people just in general don't really like timber wolves. They are a good opponent. I mean, I like them because they're dangerous and difficult opponents. And I think it adds variety to the game. So I think they should be in the game. And they are an interesting opponent. However, the problem with Timberwolves is they are basically just annoying guardians. You find them in certain areas where that area has something unique to it, like the cannery in Bleak Inlet, or near the prison in Blackrock and the workshop there, Sundered Pass and the Tail. So they are in areas that has something unique to it. So they have a certain function as such. However, there's no real incentive to kill them, because if you kill them, they are basically just wolves. They give wolf meats and they give wolf pelts. Now, I'm no biologist, so I don't know what the actual difference is in terms of pelt quality or whatever between a tim wolf and a regular wolf, but that's not really the point. Again, we're not really going for realism here as such. I think really that if you kill the timber wolf, you should get a timber wolf pelt, and that should be able to be used to craft something different than with wolf pelts. It doesn't really matter what it is. It can be something unique, like, for example, you can use to make maybe a jumper, a Timberwolf jumper, which would add an extra crafting slot to the game that you can't usually make stuff for, like the sweaters you wear. Or it could just be an alternative of the wolf coat. It's a Timberwolf coat that maybe gives more warmth, but is slightly heavier, or maybe has less sprint penalty or something. Just something to add some variety to it. I really think that's necessary, because then it will encourage people to actually engage with Timberwolves. It will be a reward to it, similar to what the Cougar was. So killing them is not just surviving a Timberwolf attack and entering that area, but also gaining a reward from killing them, and that will make it more, there'll be more of an incentive to engage with them. So that's the only thing I really think they should add to the game. All the other ones are really small quality of life changes. So those are the things that I would like to see changed. Again, they don't have to do any of these things. The game is great the way it is now. But if they decided to do it, this is what I would like to see changed. What do you think? Do you like these 5 ones? And what changes do you have? Let me know in the comments below. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, survivors. Bye bye.